And we are just about set to go. The single super stocks looking to make their way out. So just about ready to go for them. The single super stocks will be followed by, as we mentioned, by the 340 fan super stocks and 440 fan super stocks. Then you got the 340 free air super stocks and 440 free air super stocks, the F500s and the Sportsman 600s. Unofficial total, Spanky Robinson, 64 entries today amongst the 7 divisions. Looking forward to it. We're going to crown our first 7 feature winners. After the features tonight on the legendary 1 mile oval, we have had racing this week already, though, Spanky. This past Sunday, it was the Wall Service Solutions Mini 5 Kids Snowmobile races, and for the first time, we created on the front stretch a miniature version of the legendary 1 mile for the kids to race on.
Boy, that must have been awfully exciting for those kids to get out there. A lot of them, a lot of the kids are the racers here for this week at the I-500, and certainly very excited. The families of those kids out in that front straightaway, they can say they actually raced at the I-500 on the track. That was the case here when they made that nice little track for them, and the racing looked to be pretty competitive. What I seen there was a pretty good day of racing there with those minis. Yeah, it certainly was, and congratulations to the feature winners. Young 6-year-old young lady, Brinley Bardo, was your first feature winner of the 56th running of the International 500 Snowmobile Race Week. She won the Kitty Cats feature. Marley Furyk, you know that name very well, the Furyk family. She was the winner of the Stock 120s feature, while Amelia Hart scored the hat trick for the ladies. She picked up the Mod 120 feature win. But then old Carson Furyk, the 11-year-old from Hessel, Michigan, he stopped the lady dominance. Carson Furyk picking up his 6th Mini 5 Kids Snowmobile Race feature win of his career. I don't know, Matt. That's pretty fantastic. The ladies take 3 out of the 4 classes, so certainly they got the bragging rights. There's no doubt about it. I can just imagine in that Furyk family what the bragging going on there, and that's awesome to see that both the boys and girls get very involved in that, and that was a great day of racing. And Carson and Marley's dad, Dustin Furyk, we're going to see him a little bit later on this afternoon, competing in the F500s division as well, and we're going to have a special guest up here in the booth. Marley Furyk's going to be joining us up here in the Joe Menez Memorial Broadcast booth, going to help us out with some of the vintage stuff. You're going to take care of some obligations down in pit area, and we're going to talk to the feature winners today here as well. That's going to be awesome. Marcy Furyk gets up here. She does a great job the announcing. Pretty busy lady with not only with Dad racing sleds, but now the family into the snowmobile racing as well. What I understand, the boys into basketball now, so that's taken up a lot of Marcy's time, but she always manages. There's time for everything for her. She a great mother and finds time for it all. And she was awfully proud of Carson Furyk. Sunday morning, both Carson and Marley, they were down at Kinross Raceway Park for the Myra races down there. A special hello to Sierra Burnt, tuning in live on FloRacing. Oh, yeah. Hello, Sierra. Yeah, Sierra, the jack of all trades and the master of, most of them. She's finally getting to sit back in a chair and relax. She's relaxing right now, yeah. Relaxing. She was worked just to the bitter end there. She does a great job. It's always a lot of work and getting that first race off and running. But, yeah, that was a great day down there at Kinross. Real nice track. And, again, everybody had a good time racing. And, again, the Furyks, they took home a couple plaques down there. So congratulations again to the Furyks. We're going to see Marcy here in a little bit. And so we mentioned Sierra enjoying herself from the comforts of home as we got sleds on the racetrack for the first time. And these are at least scheduled to be the single super stocks. Looks like the 340 fan super stocks. I think that was Joe Carrick that just went under the bridge of Brinley, Michigan, the hometown on that machine, that Yamaha. Yes, indeed. So the sleds on the racetrack now include the Hadley Creek Outfitters 1980 Yamaha Enticer, the 67-year-old from Brimley, Michigan, the 11 of Joe Carrick. Right behind him, the Corn Farms 1978 Yamaha Exciter, 21 years old from Pickford, Michigan. It's Eric Hike. Hike in the number 1. Right behind is the 18-year-old from Kinchelo, Michigan, the Corn Farms 1978 Yamaha Exciter, Monty Dumback. Dumback in the 4. And then let's see what else we got here. Got a few others out there as well, including the Darlene Concrete
1974 Viking SS for 17-year-old Jarrett Crimmin out of Sault Ste. Marie is out there as well.
Wow, that's you don't see a lot of Vikings on the race course. That's super cool to see those Yamahas. Yeah, certainly those are were very fast. The 1980 Exciters, that 7980 Exciters, and that vintage, and that's really cool. That Viking out there. See, we got a Kawasaki 340. A couple of those listed here also.
Yes, indeed. And also on the track is the JV Electric 1980 Polaris, 43-year-old rider from Saginaw, Michigan, James Von Borg. Von Berg is out there as well. So sleds were sent out just to get kind of a read on the visibility a little bit, just see, make sure everything's A-okay. I mean, like I said, Spanky, since about 10:30 this morning, this snow, what you're seeing right now on your screen, it has been this way since about 10:30 this morning.
Yeah, weather warnings come in the area. The driving not the best. Some whiteout conditions up here in Sault Ste. Marie, but you know what? You're going to have a hard time keeping these guys off that racetrack. I'm going to tell you what. If they're certainly in hopes that they can run here today and this evening here up at the I-500.
So we get ready for practice group qualifying here a little bit. A few of the sleds went out to check out the visibility concerns that some of the teams may or may not have had. I mean, looking from where we're at, the Joe Munez Memorial Broadcast booth, of course, we know the viewing is much different when you're on a sled. But from us, Spanky, I mean, I just turned 50 this summer, and my eyesight isn't what it used to be, but I can't see turns 3 and 4.
Well, I just turned 65 this December, so you got that much better eyesight than me, but you're right. Very tough today to see. We can see about 3/4 way down the straightaway. You can see some sleds coming out of the snowy conditions down there now towards the start-finish line and under the bridge. But, hey, you know what? It is winter. It's better than rain up here, Matt. I'll put it that way. Last year we had very mild conditions. And,
last year, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, no pun intended. It was night and day compared to last year's conditions to this year's conditions. Last year, it was more the I-500 mudmobile races, you know, with all the, you know, the lack of snow, if you will, that we had this time last year. But this year, this weekend, this week, I don't think snow's an issue.
Yeah, really, you know what? We got to really commend the track building crew up here. They do such a fantastic job. If you can imagine, we got about 3 feet of snow. We got dumped on every day, just an extreme amount of snow. And first of all, the crew had to go to work and clear all the snow off the track so that the clay underneath would freeze so that they could lay down the ice. And then they went to work to proceed to lay down ice. 16 inches of ice, I am told, is on the racetrack here. I don't know how many millions of gallons, I'm not exaggerating, of water that is around this 1 mile oval here. But just a fantastic job by all the track building crew, all volunteers up here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and they need to be commended.
No doubt about it. As we await, we're going to hear it under race control, going to send a few more sleds out just to get another read on the visibility, see how things are going before we jump into group practice and group qualifying. There we go. I'll get it right. So that's how it's going to work today. We're going to set the fields for the qualifier heat races via practice group qualifying. So when they come out on the racetrack, when we officially start practice and group qualifying, that'll be their qualifying times. They'll get 2 consecutive laps. When they come out of the chute of turn number 3, they'll come around to the long 2,000-foot front stretch, take the green flag, come around, white flag, come around again, checkered flag. That's your 2 laps of practice/group qualifying. That will set the field for today's qualifier heats. The finishing order of today's qualifier heats will determine the starting lineups for tonight's feature events later on this evening.
Well, these machines, Matt, used to racing on a, say a 1/4 mile or a 3/8 mile track, possibly on an ice or a closed circuit, but not at all did they get an opportunity to race on a big 1 mile like that. So the riders goes under the bridge there. That's the number 11, Joe Carrick, the 67-year-old veteran on board that 1980 Yamaha Exciter.
Yeah, 3-time Great Lakes Antique Snowmobile Series champion. Also out there is the Corn Farms Yamaha for Pickford, Michigan's Eric Hike, as well as also on the racetrack, the number 4 Yeah, the number 4.
14, I think that might have been, Matt, was that Dan Galarowic?
That could have been, yeah. Dan Galarowic, the Galarowic Construction Yamaha, the 40-year-old from Gatesville, Michigan.
There was an X, a 14X on there, mind you, but Woody's Racing Products, Galarowic Construction, the sponsors on that 338 Yamaha.
And also James Von Berg, the former Bevra competitor, former winner in the Bevra Series, the JV Electric Polaris, the 43-year-old from Saginaw, Michigan, is out there as well.
There's a nice-looking Polaris that just went under the bridge of Polaris TX, so we'll try to figure out who that might have been that got out for their little run out here just to check out the conditions, the visibility conditions. They've got a few sleds go from all the different classes out here.
And you can kind of tell they're kind of taking things gingerly around the 1 mile, the legendary 1 mile ice oval. I mean, like I said, we can't stress this enough for those of you just tuning in or just getting here. It's been snowing like this since about 10:30 this morning. It has been nonstop. And the plows have been out consistently all morning and all afternoon. The plows just came off the racetrack just prior to us coming on the air. And that's the second group that has come out now to assess the visibility around the 1 mile ice oval. I mean, obviously the visibility for us way different for them because they're on the racetrack.
I think they've pretty much gone through the pits and let the machine out from the various different classes.
That's Jake Porco, the JRP Salvage Yamaha Exciter out there on the racetrack as well. Making his way around. Also former Sioux Vintage Shootout winner, the Performance Racing Yamaha Exciter. 65-year-old rider from Cedarville, Michigan, Jeff Malaska. Winner in 2018 of the Sioux Vintage Shootout. Dominic Zerniak, the Detailing Genie Yamaha Enticer, the 21-year-old from Traverse City, Michigan, also out there as well.
Might have been Paul Corson, might have just went under the bridge. Suttons Bay, Michigan, the hometown of that 52-year-old rider on board the Monlone Excavating sponsored 1980 John Deere Sportfire. 440 Kawasaki engine under the hood on that one, Matt.
There's a couple of 1974 Vikings out there we talked about earlier. I believe that's the oldest sleds out there, the 1974s. That was a great year, by the way.
I'm just amazed at the Vikings. I got to get down pit side and take a look at those. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. And that's so cool that they're just cutting laps in the I-5.
So Jake Porco just went underneath the Feigned Bridge.
Yamaha 250 single cylinder for Porco under the hood on that one.
That was Dan Galarowic, runner-up last year in the 340 Fan Superstocks, the Galarowic construction machine. He just timed in at a 56.758, which the times you hear are going like, what? But yeah, it takes a while to get around this 1 mile, especially for the vintage sledge. I mean, once you see the Sioux I-500 sleds, get ready for Parker Ace Hardware Pole qualifying starting tomorrow. You're going to see times in the low 40s, maybe even high 30s, and especially when them Kokosing Alberici trailer old 600 mods come out, oh, they're the fastest sleds on the property.
I laughed. Paul Corson just come through under the bridge, and he pushed right up to the top of the track. You can see just not the carbides. Leaf spring suspensions on these don't get the front end bite that today's machines get. So he was muscling that machine of his, John Deere, and right up to the top of the hay bales and down the back straight.
I can't imagine finding parts for, like, say, a 1978 Yamaha Enticer. It's very easy to come by.
Yeah, it's real tough, and you know what? The price of the parts has gone up considerably because of the availability, and a lot of people have really got interested in the vintage stuff now. A lot of former fans of races and that, now a little bit older, building these sleds and that. So, yeah, no doubt, it's tough to find. You find parts, you buy them, and you put them on the shelves in your race shop.
So far, overall, the quickest time of the day belongs to James Von Borg, the 43-year-old from Saginaw, Michigan, that JV Electric 1980 Polaris. He's listed as a 340 free air super stock. His time is a 51.502. That is the quickest time we have seen so far of the now 9 teams that have turned at least one lap around the legendary 1 mile.
You can see some more machines making their way out onto the race course now, down off that turn 4 area.
And that was the number 80, Dominic Zerniak. I'll check that. Eric Hike, the 21-year-old from Pickford, Michigan, at Corn Farms Yamaha.
I think that was a real nice looking Skidoo out there, a 77 Skidoo RV. Mike Miles, in Saugatuck, Michigan, the hometown of the 55-year-old rider on that Flannery Motorsports Wall Brothers sponsored Skidoo on the back straightaway.
Coming out of turn 2, making his way down the long backstretch, former multi-time beverage champion, the Wilco's Farms Polaris, St. Charles, Michigan youngster Tucker Haven, just 18 years old. Turning his first laps of his career on the legendary 1 mile ice oval.
Boy, that's got to be exciting to cut your first laps, come under that bridge, and you know, if you haven't been to the I-500 here, it's a little bit different look. You come down the straightaway, you cannot see around the curve here. As you come under the bridge, you're looking at a bank curve, and you cannot see the turn 2 for turn 1. So it's certainly a different look.
And, we were talking about the Furyk family a little bit ago. Dustin Furyk has now made his way out from the F500s, defending race winner of the F500s at Taser Boat Works, 1990 Polaris Indy. His first lap of the day, a 52.813, second quickest overall in his first lap of the weekend. I should say weekend. It's week. We're still in the week.
Some of the bigger sleds now starting to make their way out onto the track here. Boy, that snow is certainly accumulating on the track. It wasn't that long ago they scraped it. You could see the blue ice. They put blue into the race surface to determine the edge of the bank and the race surface. And that's pretty much disappeared here now. So that's got to be pretty tough to see it down here. Where your bank starts and from the edge of your race course.
So group qualifying continues. Dustin Furyk now just turned the fastest lap of the day, a 51.428. That is an F500.
Real nice looking TX Polaris. Furyk, a strong running machine for Mr. Furyk there out of the Cedar Grove, Michigan area. That's the hometown of that gang.
Young lady making her first ever appearance here at the International 500 Snowmobile Racetrack, a 39-year-old from Thessalon, Ontario, Canada. Audrey Martin, the Fringe Outfitters, 1979 Polaris TX. Audrey, a late addition to the roster, turning her first ever laps, and not bad at all. 6 quick, 55.533.
Audrey, we got to see her racing last weekend down at Kinross, and nice to see. Again, got to be pretty excited to cut her first laps here at the I-500. I know she's involved in support of that Ken Schwartz, the Team 75 that'll be here in the Pro Enduro circuit here. Yeah, great to see that she's on board that machine and cutting laps here.
Speaking of Dustin Furyk, Carson Furyk, his son, won the kids race at Kinross, came here, won the Mini 5. Well, Dustin Furyk liked to do the same thing, He won at Kinross this past weekend, Furyk, in the ISR Superstock division, picking up the big win. He'd like to duplicate his F500 triumph from 1 year ago here at the I-500.
I think the old boy better watch it. He's going to get kicked out of the...
Oh, Carson's going to boot him out.
The driver's seat. Carson's coming on strong. The young man, very fast rider. So it's just a matter of time. Every year they get a little bit younger and can certainly have picked up victories. Got a lot of experience on the race course.
Dustin Furyk, quickest time overall right now at a 51.428. Second quick overall. We'll get them all separated by classes here momentarily, but second quickest overall, James Von Berg, 51.502. Tucker Haven, the 18-year-old from St. Charles, Michigan, third quick, and that one number 128, Wilco's Farms Polaris, 52.297.
Real nice looking machine. That one, a 79 Polaris 340. The one coming down the straightaway now as he'll cross by the stripe and head under the bridge.
Dan Galaroric is fourth quick overall at a 54.628. While Audrey Martin is fifth quick overall at a 55.533. That is your top 5 overall. We'll get them all separated for you from amongst the 7 divisions. But Dustin Furyk is an F500. while James Von Borg is a 340 free air super stock. So is Tucker Haven.
I think that last machine that just went by under the bridge, that was an F500. Trevor Warner, Gatesville, Michigan, the hometown of that 23-year-old rider or 24-year-old rider. Ray Fisher Incorporated, Woody's Racing, Chippewa Motors. Some of the sponsors on the side of this 1990 Polaris Indy.
Per the driver rosters, there are 7 entries in the single super stocks, as well as 9 entries in the 340 fan super stocks. While in the 440 fan super stocks, pretty good size, 11 entries, or make that 13 entries in the 440 fan super stocks. You got 6 in the 340 free air super stocks. Well, we got another 6 in the 440 free airs. The F500s has a nice solid field of 12 entries in the F500s, while the Sportsman 600s are a good solid entry list of 10.
A pretty good group of vintage sleds have made their way here. Like you mentioned, 60 some machines here, so they'll bring some more out onto the track, and we'll get some qualifying in, and eventually it'll lead to today's heat races and tonight's or this afternoon's finals.
Last year, for our Sioux Vintage Shootout, the big story last year, Spanky, was Chaz Major. 3 feature wins in one day for the now 22-year-old from Ludington, Michigan.
Yeah, he ripped it up for sure last year here. Boy, he was on fire, so.
Picking up feature wins last year in the 440 free air super stock, as well as a 340 fan super stock and a single super stock. While, as we mentioned, Dustin Furick, big winner in the F500s. Ryan Wolf was the winner in the 440 fan super stocks last year, while Dan Minta picking up the popular win in the Sportsman 600. Sadly, though, Dan Minta not here today to defend that Sportsman 600 title.
I believe Minta raced down at Kinross, so maybe some issues with that sled possibly has maybe made it that he couldn't make it here today. We'll try to find out what might have happened.
And the 340 free air super stocks return after a brief hiatus. The last feature winner was back in 2022. Aaron Celestino grabbing that checkered flag.
Just under the bridge, that was Keith McKay, the Denver, Ontario a rider, 54 years of age, and the Fringe Outfitters North Channel Heating and Cooling, Rod Stevens Construction sponsored machine. McKay, a former rider in the Enduro Series of Rose Valley Racing way back in the day, Matt, here with the Abelson boys out of down in Bar River, McLennan area. Rose Valley Racing, a very familiar, popular team here.
And he's up to 4th quick on his first lap, 51.994. As McKay entered in the 440 fan super stocks. And he'll stay 4th quick. His second lap was a 52.057. His best lap of the day, 51.994, which is 4th overall. He is, as mentioned, entered into 440 fan super stock today.
Also, I think that was Peter York, a Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan rider, 46 years of age. On the Fit Money coach sponsored 79 Yamaha 440. Just went out under the bridge and down the back straight for his run.
Guy Geimer is out there as well. The Webster Gardner 1979 Polaris, 44-year-old from Saginaw, Michigan. Another competitor making his first ever appearance here at the I-500. He jumped up to 2nd quick, 51.502. Another 340 free air super stock. Geimer's entered in a couple of divisions today. Also entered in the 440 fan super stocks. You can almost see turns 3 and 4, Spanky. Almost.
Yeah.
From our view here in the Joe Bonez Memorial Broadcast booth.
It's let up slightly, but still pretty good visibility. 82, Gary Anotsky, Durango, Colorado rider.
Yes, indeed. I noticed that. I noticed that when I was prepping, for this week's for the vintage stuff. Yeah.
Ocean Toski, I guess that would be racing. 78 Yamaha 400. That's awesome. Majority from the state of Michigan was across the border in
the great province of Ontario. Yeah, Gary Osentoski, the 58-year-old from Durango, Colorado, fulfilling a lifelong dream, he said, to compete on the I-500 on the 1 mile. For the vintage guys, yes. For the vintage guys. We may have a couple guys that can answer that call later on this week. As you see Ryan Wolf making his way out there. Now we're starting to get into some of the faster sleds. Ryan Wolf in the 66 machine, the defending 440 free air super stock winner. The Wallace Lawn Care 1981 Polaris TXC out of Grand Blanc, Michigan, outside of Flint, my hometown of Flint, Michigan. One sled a little off the pace coming down the front stretch just underneath the bridge. Decides to make the hard left. That is Tim Mason out of Traverse City, Michigan.
You have to wonder, Matty, went into that bank, you have to wonder if the visibility, the whiteout conditioning hit that bank early. I don't know.
We said the faster sleds are out. Ryan Wolf, a 46.597, almost 5 seconds quicker than Dustin Furyk. Ryan Wolf sitting P1 overall, 46.597.
That's a great run for sure. Ryan Wolf got a chance to meet Mr. Wolf last weekend. Good memory. Forgot the gentleman's first name, Ryan's dad, down at Kinross. So I'm sure he's on board here, listening in.
That's not very far off the track record for the 440 Fan Superstocks. It's held by Joey Birch, a 45.823, set back on January 28th of 2018. A 45.694 now for Ryan Wolf. And that is a new track record for the 440 Fan Superstocks. How about that?
That's great. Wallace Lawn Care, Meridian Acres, Silva Excavating, Flannery Motorsports, Mickey Sleds. Some of the sponsors on that 1981 Polaris TXC 440.
You wouldn't think, or maybe so, with the track conditions the way they are, the visibility conditions they are, that the track would be this good. But that's a testament to all the track builders here. Since usually traditionally the day after Christmas when we start building the racetrack, well, the cold weather got up here pretty early, right around the Thanksgiving time area, and it was right around the early part of December, probably like December 10th. Track crew went to work building this racetrack. There's a nice solid base of 2 foot of ice.
Yeah, for sure. Down there, look now, one of the sleds again tried to miss the return road to the pit side. So I would guess that the visibility, like we'd mentioned, the blue ice from the race surface and the bank area, very tough to see from our vantage point. You can't really tell where it is. But I think that's maybe an issue. You can see one of the riders there now. He's just overshot the return road pit side.
Yeah, he did. As that is the 09 of Todd Budnick, the 56-year-old from Rogers City, Michigan, one of our 440 Fan Superstocks. Shares my birthday, July 24th. How about that? The Corey Budnick State Farm, 1979 Yamaha Exciter. Now, what is the difference? And I'm gonna tap into your expert knowledge of snowmobiles.
I know what you're gonna ask me. Go ahead, though.
What is the difference between a Yamaha Exciter and a Yamaha Enticer?
I knew you were going to ask that. And, I can tell by looking at them, but I'm not sure if it was the year of the sled or they had both models, an Enticer and an Exciter. I think the Exciter was a little bit more of a faster sled, a more modified sled. But you know what? I knew that was going to be the question. I honestly don't know. That's a good question. I'll find that out, though, for you before the week's out.
Appreciate it.
I'll find that out. I knew when that question was coming out, that was what was coming. Well, they'll bring out the toboggan there, and that machine must have broke or possibly maybe seized a motor, Matt, as they'll bring the toboggan. It's just in behind the side-by-side there. They'll put that sled on basically a piece of plywood, and they'll pop it on there, and they'll tow it back pit side. I'll bet you that's what happened. I bet you he stuck a motor and locked it up. It's very tough for these machines to come here, and they're not used to running such a long straightaway, and you can really lean a motor down pretty quick on this long straightaway here. And what happens when you lean the motor down, it takes the oil off the pistons, and you stuck a piston to the cylinder wall, and you usually lock it up. So that's maybe what's happened here with this machine.
Let's run down the top 5 for you real quick. Overall, this is overall top 5. Quick time so far, the 66 of Ryan Wolf, the Wallace Racing Polaris. He's a 440 free air super stock, a 45.694, some 5 3/4 seconds ahead of an F500, which I find impressive. Dustin Furyk, the Furyk Racing Polaris, a 51.428. That is an F500. The Hardway Racing, number 65. That's Guy Geimer. That is a 340 free air super stock. He is third quick overall at a 51.502. Identical lap to James Von Berg. Also a 340 free air super stock. Identical laps. How rare is that with thousandths of a second? A 51.502. Identical laps for Geimer and Von Berg.
That's amazing. They better get the casino and get those numbers, because I think that's their lucky day.
Yeah, we know of a casino or two. Well, at least one. Keith Mackey, a 440 fan super stock, his 5th overall. That Rose Valley Racing Polaris, a 51.994. So I'm gonna put you on the spot again, Spanky. I have 2 questions, but let's go with the first one first. It sounds simple enough. The differences sound simple enough between 440 and 340. What is the actual difference between 440 and 340?
Well, the difference is a 440 engine, the displacement in the motor, so it's a bigger bore and just a bigger displacement. Usually, a lot of the times, the bottom ends of the motors will be the same or very similar, but it just runs a bigger piston and a bigger cylinder bore, and then you can put more fuel into it, so it runs faster.
More fuel output equals more speed.
More speed, exactly. So that's the difference, basically, of a 340 and a 440.
Now,
a lot of them, appearance-wise, by the engines, a lot of them do look very similar. It's just the bore size on the engine.
Now, the second question for you, and I think you know what's coming. Difference between free air and fan.
Well, the free air, obviously, the fan-cooled motors have on the side of the engine is a pulley that runs a fan that cools the engine, draws the air through the fins on the motor. Whereas a free air engine, the engine does not have a fan, so there's no belt on the side of the motor. Just the air that comes in the front of the cowling is free airs and cools the motor. So, I mean, obviously you're losing a little bit of power, a little bit of horsepower turning a fan, as compared to a free air. The free air were the older editions of the machines.
So, in theory, a free, no matter whether it's 440 or 340, a free air, in theory, is quicker than a fan?
Well,
or is it the other way?
Basically, the free airs come along before the fans were built. So free air motors generally are faster, because, like I said, you're not robbing horsepower by turning a fan and all that extra stuff in there. It's just the air that comes in the cab. And now the problem is, on a warm day, obviously, I mean, you don't get the cooling that where you have a fan drawing the cool air through, let's say cool air through the fins on the engine, but your radiator, it's much more efficient on a warm day. So that's the difference. The free air doesn't run good, but runs real good on a cold day.
And then you have the single super stocks. How are they different from a 340 or 440?
Well, the single super stock obviously just has a single cylinder. That super stock meaning that they can make some modifications, maybe some different pipe on the engine, maybe a different carburetor. Makes you. I'm not sure if you what you can do with clutching on that, but basically a single cylinder that's been modified a bit.
Just saw Fred Devuano, the former head coach of the Sault Ste. Marie Blue Devils hockey team, out there, the 62-year-old Sioux native, speaking of single super stocks.
When are these guys going to grow up, Matt?
I know.
I love it. They're out on the track. That's fantastic.
The age variance is amazing. You have 17-year-old Jarrett Crimmin. You have 62-year-old Fred Devuano. You have 65-year-old Jeff Malaska, 18-year-old Monty Dumbag, just going to the extremes of both. You know, you look through the list here, 69-year-old Michael Stillen. I mean, I believe that is the oldest rider on property today, and indeed it is.
I think so.
Michael Stillen, the oldest rider, is 69 years old, from Everett, Michigan. He'll be competing in the 440 fan super stocks a little bit later.
Boy, if you're a 20-year-old, you're just a pup out here with all the
Right.
the veteran riders, the old boys on these vintage machines.
We've seen Chaz Major briefly, as we mentioned earlier, 3 feature wins last year in the 2024 Sioux Vintage Shootout. What a day. What a day he had.
Yeah, for sure he did on out of Ludington, Michigan, on his Yamaha GPX this year, 75 GPX 440. Major Farms, the race team out there, JB Designs, the sponsors, some of the sponsors on that. So yeah, he had a fantastic day. Going to be tough to beat that, but I'm sure he's going to try here.
So we're just getting ready to, we're continuing practice crew qualifying. 26 sleds have been out so far. And we have not seen, we've only seen a couple of F500. We haven't seen any of the Sportsman 600 yet.
Yeah, none of the 600s have made their way onto the race course here, but
and there's some names in that Sportsman 600.
oh, absolutely. I just you read my mind exactly. I was just taking a peek at the list here, and this guy Geimer goes underneath Saginaw, Michigan, and his 81 Polaris 440. Webster Gardner, Woody's Racing, Dragon Race Fuels, Mickey Sleds, and more of the sponsors on that one.
See Chaz Major back on the racetrack, making his way through turns 1 and 2. That white and red number 3 machine making his way out of turn number 2.
Boy, we used to see so many of those Yamaha machines around at all the race circuits, and now, you know, where did they all go? It's very tough to find them, and they have great value, you know. So it's always so nice to see the Yamaha race machines.
Glad you're with us. Opening day, Bud Clark Day here at the International 500 Snowmobile Racetrack in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And, you know, today is a very special day, Spanky Robinson, that is for sure, as we honor Bud Clark, one of the original founders of the International 500 Snowmobile race. Today and every day when we officially start things off on the 1 mile oval, one of the original founders will forever be honored within the CUI 500 family. And on this day, and in his honor and his memory, this day will always signify the first official day of racing on the legendary 1 mile oval.
Yeah, they had a vision back in 1968, 69, and to run a race here on the grounds here, and boy, they made it happen. And what a thing they've created here. It's just it's one of the things that you got to mark in your calendar. You got to attend. If you've never been, you need to come up to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and enjoy the festivities and enjoy the race here at the I-500.
A name very familiar to us, a multi-time winner in the Sioux Vintage Shootout, Cal Van Sloten, tuning in on FloRacing. We missed the number 44 out here.
No kidding. That's again a familiar name there. Hello to all the Van Slotens down wherever you're at. Glad you're on board enjoying it.
Yeah, I missed seeing that number 44 going out there turning laps. He was Chaz Major before Chaz Major became himself.
Yes, he was.
Winning multiple features in one day.
Yes, he was. Now you're making him feel bad. He can't get in the truck and get here in time, but
nothing's changed on the board, though. Chaz Major decided to surpass Dustin Furyk as Chaz Major pulled out the fastest sled in his arsenal, the 440 Free Air Superstock. He went second quick, 48.287 for Chaz Major.
He went by. He looked like he had a pretty smooth run in there going.
And we're starting to see some of the faster sleds. Aaron Giles is out there, former winner back in 2011 of the Sioux Vintage Shootout. Former Myra Series champion has made his way out there. Cameron Spencer. Now we're starting to see some of the names. Cameron Spencer, son of Ryan Spencer, who we will see later this week. Cameron Spencer, the F500, the Castle Sales Polaris Indy, 20-year-old rider out of Flushing, Michigan, has made his way out now. Starting to see some of the big dogs make their way out for the first time today.
Yeah, that's a legendary name here up at the I-500 for sure, the Spencer name. We've seen that a lot of years on Arctic Cats up here, and Cameron on that Polaris out there.
Wade Warner was third quick about 5 seconds ago. He has since dropped to fifth.
Giles will bring it back pit side from his qualifying runs. Real nice looking two 91 Polaris 500. Lakeside Electric, Lakeside Services, Woody's Racing products. The sponsors on that, Fentonville, Michigan rider on the side of that machine.
John Proctor just went second quick, a 48.075. That number 686 Run 'em Down Racing Polaris. Cameron Spencer now third quick at a 48.163, while Aaron Giles fourth quick. All F500s at a 48.733, but it's still Ryan Wolf leading the way in that 440 Free Air Superstock at a 45.694.
Look at Mark Suck as the Wayland, Michigan rider, 41 years of age, on that Triple S Service Flannery Motorsport sponsored Polaris Indy. Out for his run there. He just pulled it back pit side. A little crowd gathering on the banks here to watch the vintage racing here today at the I-500.
You always get the today's crowd anyways, you always get the curious ones that come out, on Tuesday. Hey, that's right, there is racing going on today.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a little tough, Matt, for sure, as for the riders to see the edge. The inside banks as well. The outside banks have hay bales up there, so they're a little easier to see, but those inside banks, that ice surface and the edge of the bank, they're kind of blend right in. We've seen a couple of riders kind of guessing where the exit was there and get into the snow a little bit early.
Cameron Spencer's second lap makes him second quick, a 46.900, 46.900. And Cameron Spencer, the big winner on Sunday in the Myra Supermod 440 feature down at Kinross Raceway Park. Ryan Spencer was smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah, for sure. That. He had a great run there, and congratulations to him on that win there down there. Here's a different one coming out now as we'll get a look.
Tim Mason, the 61-year-old from Traverse City, Michigan. You cannot miss that lime green number 41, making his way through the center of turns 1 and 2.
89 Polaris Indy 500 with a custom hood on those, Matt. A lot of them on that 500, F500 class, they can take off the original hood and put a more aerodynamic, lightweight hood on there, and that's the case of Mason, that lime green machine, like you mentioned. Pretty tough to miss that one.
By the way, Aaron Giles, the second lap was third quick, 47.702. I see Tim Hutchison jumping out. Seventh quick at a 49.041. You're seeing a lot of the F500s now making their way out.
Dustin Fierick out there now watching. We'll get him on the clock and see how what kind of lap he's going to turn. He looked to get through turn 1 and 2 pretty darn good there. Hessel, Michigan, the hometown, and the Tassier Boatworks, Tor Excavating, Woody's, Dunn Racing, Thunder Clutch Products, the sponsor on that 1990 Polaris Indy.
Time to beat is 45.694 for overall fast time.
We'll get Furyk on the clock here. You see what I think that'll be him coming down that front straightaway now. He's got a pretty good lap running, I would think. Is Furyk going to be first?
Oh, yeah. How about P1? Quick time of the afternoon, 44.784 for Dustin Furyk in the number 19 machine.
I would think so. You could just tell when he went through turn 1 and 2 that he was hanging off there pretty good. He was on the throttle, and he really come down that straightaway. Boy, it'd be nice to have a radar gun on that 500, but that thing was cranking out some pretty good top end.
Dustin Furyk, quick time in an F500. We still have not seen a Sportsman 600 make their way out yet.
I would think they'll gather them, though, let them out, kind of in the same group. You don't want to put a 600 out with a single cylinder or something here and, have just such a big variance of speed. I think that was what we've seen there. The 500s kind of come out in a group, and eventually I think we'll see them 600s come out in a group.
So real quick, tomorrow, the Kokosing Alberici Trailer Old 600 Modified Shootout will be the headliners tomorrow. Tomorrow is also rounds 1 and 2 of qualifying. Park Race Hardware CY 500 pole qualifying, also round 1. Meyer Pro Shootout qualifying. But tomorrow, the headliners of the Kokosing Alberici Trailer Old 600 mods. Today, we have Sportsman 600 mods. What's the difference?
The 600 mods, we used to run the 600s here, the triples. a lot of them run the 3-cylinder engines with pipes on there, and there's no sound that sounds better than a Polaris triple with pipes on it out there. And that's these 600 mods. They're independent front suspensions. They can tinker with the shock packages on there. They're lowered, slammed right down to the ice, and full out race sleds. So that's why they're one of the fastest ones on the grounds here.
You asked for Sportsman 600s, you got them. 4 of them are on the racetrack now, including Jake Jarrow, Joe Mapes, Mike Tadashore, and Dan Crimmin, all on the racetrack, all Sportsman 600s.
Yeah, you can see they spaced them out for safety sakes here down the I-500. So the first one making its way down that 2,000-foot front straightaway here will cross the line and under the bridge here.
Tadashore, third quick and overall at 46.802.
That first one to go under the bridge, that was Dan Crimmin, the Sioux, Michigan rider, 58 years of age, on the Darlene Concrete 1999 Yamaha SRX 600. Good look also of Jake Jarrow on the that number 3, Skoda, Michigan. Hometown of that 32-year-old rider at Tor Excavating, Woody's.
Yeah, Mike Williams was originally scheduled to ride the 3 machine, but Jake Jarrow jumping on, and Jarrow's joined a very potent team for the I-500. That number 10, Let's Go Racing Polaris.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was going to say, Williams ran that number 3 machine down in the Kinross Speed Park, so Jarrow's on top of there. Good rider, Jake Jarrow, great rider.
And oh, by the way, he's P1. 43.564. Jake Jarrow in the 3 machine. Just went P1 overall.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Joe Mapes out there also. The number 12 on that side, the J&R Tool Incorporated Mickey Sleds and More sponsored machine out of Bay City, Michigan. 59-year-old on a 99 Polaris 600.
Mike Tadashore went a 45.804. Second quick amongst the Sportsman 600. Dustin Furyk, we've never heard of him before, ever. No one knows who he is. We say that with Marcy Furyk joining us soon here in the Joe Monez Memorial Broadcast booth.
Good thing we were talking good about her boys. We would have got in trouble. Hi, Marcy.
We'll jump on a mic here for a little bit, Marcy. Welcome, Marcy Furyk. How are you?
I'm great, but I'm wishing the conditions were a little better.
Well, we can actually see turns 3 and 4 a little bit now.
Yeah, it's definitely opened up a little bit, but hopefully it keeps lifting and gets a little better conditions when we get into heat racing in the future.
I gotta ask you, Mark, straighten this out here now. Separate, you're at the dinner table, and you got the young gun and you got the old boy there, all talking. The young guy is getting faster. He's getting older. Pretty soon, he's going to be kicking the old boy out of the seat of that race sled. What's it like at the dinner table, those two guys?
Well, we've actually had those conversations lately because there's only so many sleds that can fit into a trailer, and we keep talking. If he gets any faster, Dustin's going to have to probably hang up the helmet and step aside because the future is coming quickly behind him.
Well, a familiar, not to interrupt, you're never going to guess that Troy DeWald would be P1, but guess what? Troy DeWald is P1 in the Sportsman 600. He just went a 40.099, 3.5 seconds quicker than Jake Jarrow. And oh, by the way, Mike Kunzer just went second quick and Maui's third quick, 42.738, because Ryan Dolsky just went second quick, and Troy DeWald, first one under the 40-second mark, a 39.812.
I'm going to tell you something, Troy DeWald. These conditions here, the visibility isn't the best. He's got so many laps on this track. He can drive around here with his eyes closed, Matt. So,
by the way,
that's the case. DeWald fastest out here.
Troy DeWald annihilates the Sportsman 600 track record by nearly a second. The previous record was a 40.769 set last year by Aaron Celestino. Troy DeWald just went a 39.812.
3 times I-500. Sorry, Mark's winner and 12-time I-500. Sat on the pole 12 times. So
Marcy,
he knows the quick lanes.
Oh yeah, Marcy, that Troy DeWald, he ain't bad, is he?
He's not bad at all. He definitely knows this track, and I've watched him the past 2 weekends, and he is fast no matter what track he hits.
And you don't want to make him mad. He's a big dude, man. He's just a big dude.
He's a big dude, but he's a very he's soft in the heart. He's the sweetest guy, the biggest teddy bear, and the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Oh,
I guess I've been bumped down a second now.
Oh.
Sorry, Spanky. Oh, you're a big teddy bear. Let me give you a hug there.
Troy DeWald, a brand new track record for the Sportsman
Wow.
600 as part of the Sioux Vintage Shootout, a 39.812, a second and a quarter quicker than second fastest Ryan Dalsky, who won a 41.063. Mike Windsor, third quick with a 42.738. While Jake Jarrell, fourth fast at a 43.564. The top four, all Sportsman 600s. Quickest time in the F500, someone you know very well, Marcy Furyk. that's Dustin Furyk. The Taser Boat Works Polaris Indy, quick time in the F500s with a 44.784. And no track record, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I got to ask you, Marcy, I don't know if you got a chance to talk with Dustin, but it's got to be tough to see the edge of the inside, particularly the inside bank. Everything's white down there with this snow coming down the yard. Did you have a chance to talk to them after they have been on the track?
I have not been able to talk to him, but I will reach out for sure. And I can only imagine that the inside track is definitely a visibility issue. But a lot of these drivers, they know this track and they know how to be smart and be safe out there.
So, guys, we are in the midst of a plow break before we jump into our qualifier heat races. We'll get you all the fast qualifiers for each of the divisions here when we come back here in just a little while. But in the meantime, plow break going on right now. We're going to get the qualifier heat races lined up. Then once we get the qualifier heat races going, the finishing order of those qualifier heat races will set the lineups for tonight's 7 big features as part of the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout. Those heat races, by the way, today, I should say, 4 laps apiece. Features will be 7. Also of note, and for those of you just tuning in or just getting here, the GFL Environmental Formula 3 Shootout has been scrapped today. So unfortunately, for that, we was looking forward to seeing the Formula 3 competitors, but unfortunately that program has been scrapped today. So we've got 7 big features coming up, 7 heat races, seven sets of heat races and 7 features coming up here later tonight for the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout. And then later tonight from 9 to 10 p.m., while not on FloRacing, we're going to go live on our I-500 Facebook page, utilizing the Facebook Live feature, the 1-hour Sioux I-500 practice. We're going to come to you live from inside the infield, in the pit area. We're going to be right in the midst of it all from 9 to 10 p.m., and that is only and exclusively on the International 500 Snowmobile Race Facebook page. Yours truly is going to go down to the elements with my high-quality Android phone, and we're going to walk around the pits. We're going to talk. It's grid walk snowmobile style. Michael Waltrip has nothing on us. We're going to walk down the pits. It was so popular last year. It was so much fun to do. Well, we're going to do it again. That's going to be from 9 to 10 p.m. tonight. But in the meantime, we are in the midst of a plow break. As I'm going to look at my producer all lovingly to say go to a break, right? All right. We're going to take a short break, let's go 15, 20 minutes or so. As we go in the midst of this plow break, we'll come back. You're watching opening day, Bud Clark Day, officially day 3 of Owasso Speedway presents the 56th running of the International 500 Snowmobile Race Week, powered by Wheeler Trucking. We'll be right back.
love that if you're blowing them to the outside. Yep, you need to have a goggle sales truck outside. You can make millions. Are you guys listening to the FM broadcast when Matt's not chirping in your ear? If you tap the orange button on the top left side of your radio, that'll allow the FM to come in. And you tune in 91.100. And then when the Matt's talking, it'll override the radio. hear a drone flying around somewhere. I don't see it. Good, I know. Come on in. Sure. Don't burn your coat. Be like Chris.
Oh yeah. I can't remember.
And I got it on time trying to melt the snow in here.
Yeah.
So,
How's it going up here so far?
Pretty good. Yep. How about you?
Good. Got an interview in trailer, this Hilly's trailer.
Nice.
That's the last year they're using the trailer. They're building a new one, which was kind of cool to get this interview.
Right.
I was like, we'll give it a nice send off. She actually, I was surprised. She got a little emotional. I was like, will you tell me about like the transition? She had like taken it to herself.
Wow.
There's a lot of like feelings.
Oh yeah. How
A lot
many
of
years
sentimental
did she
value.
have in that one?
Usually says they've been running it for like 8 years now. But like, I think a lot of family help went into like converting it from like a camper to
Yeah.
food trailer.
Yep. It's hard to believe they can turn out so much food in
Yeah.
that little thing. Yeah, it's amazing.
She said that they do air fryers instead of grease because
Okay.
they have to do like exhaust systems, like emergency shut-offs and all that shit. So
Okay.
yeah, she's
Their burger was so really good.
she was talking. She said that it's fresh, that they like go and get the meat, like roll it.
Yeah, you can tell it's not just frozen from Gordon Food Services.
Yeah,
It's- Yeah, that's cool. I really like toys.
it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Are you good? You think you're doing great though?
the flakes have kind of gone a little bit larger flakes, but less frequent. And I would if I wasn't live right now. Makes for good TV. All right, I'll do it now. Yeah, I'm just drove it too. I'll get it when I'm clear. So that speed shot cam is not working. There was an arc in the power. They replaced the power, and the GFI is showing red. And I'm not able to reset it. So Matt, I'm not sure if you got a copy on that, but I was not able to reset the GFI. It's still showing red. Can people run it remote? Copy. Are you guys using autofocus or manual focus for this? Yeah, I was having the same issue. I am on manual, but we'll see how things look as we go on. Well, and sadly, it's filling right back up. I think the one Gaylord race, the Myra Gaylord race a couple of years ago, that was the longest one in history where they were slush plowed. They had to bust out the road grader for that one. had a guy walk up to the flag stand and turn around. So that's good. Ooh, somebody just tumbled down the stairs. He's all right, but man, he went about halfway down, all the way to the ground. gonna need to re-white balance with these lights that are on now? You want anybody to re-white balance now that these lights are on?
presents the 56th running of the International 500 Snowmobile Race Week, powered by Wheeler Trucking. Also officially, it is officially official. We can't say that enough. It's opening day, Fun Car Day, here at the I-500 racetrack in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. My name is Matt Freer, the voice of the I-500. Originally from Flint, Michigan, now residing in Westville, Ohio, standing alongside Lauren Spanky Robinson from Disparate, Ontario, Canada, and joining us, the lovely and formidable Marcy here at Hessel, Michigan. Going to help us call the Riesel Peterbilt Sioux-Vintage Shootout here at the I-500. Current temperature
In Sault Ste. Marie, well, it's picked up a little bit. It's almost shorts weather, Spanky. It's 19 degrees.
Sorry about that. It's 19 degrees, but so is that snow picked up out here, Matty. Boy,
It is.
it's coming down here in Sioux, Michigan.
It has not stopped snowing since about 10:30 this morning. It's been steady snow, steady flurries all day long. Now the snowflakes are actually getting bigger.
We're all good. Marcy said she's going to go out and clean our trucks off and
very
start them all
cool.
up, and that being a northern girl from northern Michigan. Right, Mars?
Yeah, absolutely no problem. I'll have them cleaned up before you guys get out of here, and no problem at all. But, you know, it's 19 degrees, and my favorite number is number 19.
That's
Good one.
right.
Yes, sir.
So I'll take that.
Yes.
So I gotta ask you, Marcy. You know, Carson and Marley pick up feature wins on Sunday. Dustin's the defending race winner in the F500s. There's got to be a lot of trophies on that mantle.
A lot of trophies. It was pretty exciting because Marley has not raced up here, and she picked up a feature win, so she was pretty excited. But I was telling Spanky that I maybe had to bribe her just a little bit. She wanted some hot chocolate, and I told her, you have to win if you want some hot chocolate.
Now, okay, I understand that. Now, did you bribe the old boy with the same? He gets a hot chocolate, and there's a little financial little bonus there if he. Well, give me the honest truth now.
No, I didn't have to bribe him. He just wanted to run his 120 one more time, and he took care of business and gonna put that back on the shelf with a win.
So, though, for those that don't know, the Wall Service Solutions Mini 5 Kid Snowmobile Race officially kicked off race week here at the I-500, and how cool was it to have the kids racing on the miniature Mini 5 track on the front stretch of the legendary 1 mile?
Yeah, that was really cool. When they announced that, I said to Dustin, you need to get Carson's Supermod 120 fired back up because he will not have an opportunity to run on this track till he's 18. So can you please fire up the 120 and just let him run it one more time? Because our deal in our house was once you move to a big sled, you have to turn up the reins, you have to turn in the 120. And
Now, is that a hard 18 years old? Because we have Jared Crimmin about to run in the single super size. He's 17.
Well, yeah, right. So he could run in the vintage, but the big race, he will have to be 18. So, but let's not look too far ahead, and we'll freeze time a little bit.
Congratulations again to the Wall Service Solutions Mini 5 Kids Snowmobile Race feature winners. Of course, Carson Furyk in the Super Mod 120s, Amelia Hart in the Mod 120s, Marley Furyk in the Stock 120s, and Brinley Bardo in the Kitty Cats. It took Carson to stop the young ladies' domination, didn't it?
Yeah, she was definitely cruising. She was ready to run Carson down, and she wanted to push him out of her way. She was cruising.
Super Stocks Heat Race number 1. 4 laps the distance. Everyone's going to transfer. So how they finish is how they're going to start today's feature. It is a standing start for every division except the Sportsman 600s. It will be a rolling start, if you will. Green flag is out, and here we go. And we'll set you the lineup. First up, the Wilco's Farms Yamaha, the number 3 of Chaz Major alongside him. The Darlene Concrete 1974 Viking, the 98 of Jared Crimmin. Then you've got the CH Marine Services Yamaha Enticer, 62-year-old Fred DeVuano, alongside Dominic Zerniak, the detailing Genie Yamaha Enticer, and last but not least, the JRP Salvage Yamaha, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario's Jake Porco.
Boy, Chaz got off to a real nice start. He nailed the start. He's got a decent lead as they make that back long run down that back straightaway and kind of disappear out of our sight down there, Mars. you call him as you see him come down that front straightaway, but Chaz got a great start.
Yeah, Chaz jumped right out front, and he knows this track. He's ran a lot of laps here and has some championships here as well. But he's coming down the front stretch as I'm just getting the view out of the snow dust. But he has a good, healthy lead, and green flag will still wave as he comes down the stretch.
Yeah, he's got, I'd say a 150-foot lead as he goes under the bridge here. The other second-place machine just passes by the stripe now.
That is the 80 of Dominic Zerniak currently in second spot. Then you got Fred Duano in third. Jared Crimmon in fourth. Jake Porco running at the top five. But it is Chaz Major out in front. What a day he had about a year ago, Marcy. My goodness. 3 feature wins in one day on the legendary 1 mile.
Yeah, he's no stranger here. He knows what a feature win feels like, and he's looking to do the same as he's leading his way in this heat race. And what I was looking at is he was already exiting turn 2, and the guy in 5th was just coming into turn 1. So he has a really good lead on this field right now.
Chaz Major knows how to get around this legendary 1 mile ice oval. 3 feature wins 1 year ago and last year's Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout. It is Major out in front, the 22-year-old from Ludington, Michigan. 2 laps completed, 2 laps to go for Chaz Major. He's got about a football field over the 80 of Dominic Zerniak.
Yeah, looking pretty smooth, Major, as he's already down into turn 1 as the other machine, the second-place machine, just crosses under the bridge. That's Dominic Zerniak. But really got that Yamaha running real nice. He's already halfway down that back straightaway, Mark.
Yeah, and Chaz Major has opened up that gap as he's about a half a lap ahead. He is just cruising down the back stretch, but it does look like the number 12 is having some difficulties as he's going to duck into the pits.
That's Jake Porco, the JRP Salvage 1979 Yamaha Enticer, the 25-year-old from across the bridge in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. He's going to take that sled back to Spanky Robinson's house.
Well, what would look to be running okay, but quite a ways back. Maybe Jake just decided that maybe it's time he's had enough for today.
Well, it was 4 laps heat races. They decided to go, let's go 3 laps instead because of visibility issues. Chaz Major will win heat race number 1, the one and only heat race of the single super stock. So Chaz Major will get the primo starting spot in today's feature event, looking to repeat as the single super stock winner. Dominic Zerniak comes home in second spot in the 80 machine. The Traverse City, Michigan native. Fred Duano, the former Sault Ste. Marie Blue Devils high school hockey head coach, was running in third as Jared Crimmon, the youngest rider on the property today, 17 years old, finishes in third. Duano, nowhere to be found.
Must have broke somewhere down in the far end of the track down there. He did not come up the front straightaway. You can see the side-by-side going down now to his rescue down at the far end of the track. You can see down in that turn 3 area, you can see some attention down there. So that must be where Fred Duano is. Well, your winner, Wilcox Farms, JB Designs, Major Farms, the sponsor on Chad Major, Ludington, Michigan, the hometown of that 22-year-old rider.
And Major, he's going to have to hop on off one sled, hop onto another. He's in the 340 fan super stocks as well, where he's also the defending race winner in the 340 fans as well. He is also the defending race winner in the 440 free air. And he's entered in all 3, looking to repeat in all 3.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have some laps on this track today, and he's going to be looking to pick up some feature wins, so that competition is going to be, I can tell you what, they're all going to be looking to run him down because they don't want to see him pick up 3 feature wins like last year.
Marcy, you get a chance to look at this track already. We just plowed this track not very long ago, and look at already the snow on the race cars. It's going to be extremely hard to see, particularly the inside bank on this track. The outside, you can see the hay bales. They can find the bank, but it's got to be tough for the riders. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that is tough. Visibility definitely plays a factor. And watching those plows just a little bit ago, it took a lot of work, and I was worried that they would be able to keep up, but they did get it cleaned off, and you can already see that it's almost due for another plow.
I think this might be the heaviest of the day. The snow conditions right now might be, the wind has died down, but certainly that snow has moved in here, lake effect snow. We got a pretty good burst here right now.
Yeah, snowball is about the size of golf balls right now.
If you're not familiar with it,
Maybe exaggerating.
the location of Sioux, Michigan, right where all the Great Lakes meet, right where Lake Superior meets Huron and Michigan, pretty much is the location.
Yeah,
here of the.
We're what, about a mile and a half from the Sioux Locks?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, we can walk out. We can step outside the door here to our right, throw a rock, and hit Canada.
The Sioux Locks, they take the water level, the change in the water level from Lake Superior to Lake Huron. So that's the reasoning of the Sioux Locks here, where all the shipping takes place, like you mentioned, just about a mile away here.
We're so far north, we're called Southern Canada.
Southern Canada. Yeah, this is Southern Canada. Yeah, not really. Windsor down the road here towards Detroit, the southernmost point in Canada.
Later on this week, starting tomorrow, in the first rookie practice, Reagan Niekrook from Rankin Inland, Nunavut. You know where that's at?
I didn't know where that was at, but I seen the interview with him, and that was pretty cool, man.
He is closer to Santa Claus than he is to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
A couple questions. Who does he race with up there?
Well, he's the rookie driver on the Let's Go Racing number 10.
I know, but he's got to run a snowmobile somewhere, and I seen him, boy. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see, and I'll tell you what, that's going to be something totally different for him running here on the big track, the 1 mile up in the Sioux here.
He is, what do you say, about 3 hours north of the Manitoba provincial line. He's basically the Arctic Circle.
Well, he's not shy to cold, so when he comes here, he's going to be thinking it's a heat wave here.
Well, this is shorts and T-shirt weather for him.
Absolutely.
I got that question wrong in my geography test, so
right.
I'm not exactly sure where that is, but I need to study up.
340 fan super stock heat race action, same as the single super stocks. Everyone will transfer, so this will set the lineup for you, and we'll get that lineup for you here in just a little bit. As the field, once again, standing starts for everybody but the Sportsman 600s. Only one division is going to transfer out of the heat races today. That's the 440 fan super stocks, which will be coming up after these competitors. Everyone else will start today's feature events here as part of the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout.
8 sleds across the line getting ready to roll down there, and they'll line them up, and we'll let them fly here.
So heat race, due to visibility, the heat races have been cut to 3 laps apiece. So the features will be 5 laps today instead of 7. Green flag, here we go. As they come across, Chaz Major is on second spot at the moment. Dan Galaroric jumps out to the lead in the 14. Rest of the field, you got Chaz Major in the number 3, the 22-year-old from Ludington, Michigan. Then you got Joe Carrick, the 67-year-old from Brimley, Michigan. Dan Galaroric, the 40-year-old from Gatesville, Michigan. Then, of course, you got Eric Huke, the 21-year-old from Pickford, Michigan.
That is Eric Hike.
Hike. I knew that, too. I was just told that, too. Gosh darn it.
Couple 14s out there, Mars, a 14 and a 14X.
Yes, Monty Dumback is the 14X.
Monty Dumback.
So you see on his jersey is 14X, but they are running a 4 on the side of the sled. So
okay.
That is a good number. That was my basketball number, actually.
There you
so
go.
I like all these 14s out here.
Go.
All local drivers, all the 14s are. Green flag as they come around, and it's Galaroric leading the charge as he heads into turn 1.
Nice smooth run under the bridge. Boy, Galaroric's got a look at the dogfight for second here now.
Yeah, Jeff Malaska, the 94 machine former winner back in 2018 in the Sioux Vintage Shootout.
Yeah, Eric Pike running that number 1. That is actually our old 340 sled that Dustin won up here in 2020. So that sled, I know, has it in it to possibly pick up a feature here.
Quick question for you. I couldn't answer it. The difference between an exciter and an enticer. Can you tell Matt? I couldn't answer that question. Do you know, Mars?
No, I don't.
That's a tough question. That's a skill testing question.
The name. The difference is the name.
I got it.
That's a skill testing
An exciter runs a jack shaft and conventional chain case setup
Oh.
and reed valve engine, while an enticer does not use a jack shaft and does not have a reed valve engine. Much cheaper sled, by the way, too, is the enticer.
Galaroric is just cruising around this track on the 14 as he's coming into turn 1, and it's Malaska following his lead as they go into coming out of turn 2.
And Malaska, he's separated himself a little bit now from that third place machine, but he's got a long ways to go. Galaroric already halfway down that back straightaway as Jeff Malaska tries to find a way to get up there.
Eric Hike is in third in the number 1 machine. Monty Dumback is fourth in the number 4. Then you got the 11 of Joe Carrick, the 3 of Chaz Major off the pace, 15 of Fred Devano, and young lady Katrina Kolaric is out there as well from Midland, Michigan. She's rounding out the field along with, that's Kolaric rounding out the field. One driver not answering the call, Jeremy Van Hogue.
Kalina Kolaric on that nice-looking John Deere Trailfire, 79 Trailfire, Kawasaki engine under the hood on that. That's pretty cool.
And checkered flag is out, and it is Dan Gallaroric picking up that heat race win. 3 laps goes quick, don't it?
It sure does, and I thought this was going to be a little closer as they come across the line, the race for 5th. They were closing the gap down the back stretch here, but the 11 there definitely got away from them in the front stretch.
That's Joe Carrick on that 11 that you grabbed that 4th spot, I believe.
So Dan Gallaroric, your winner of the heat race for the 340 Fan Superstars, coming in second to 94. Jeff Malaska third, the 1 of Eric Hike. 4th spot to the number 4 of Monty Dumback. 5th, rounding on the top 5, the 11 of Joe Carrick. The rest of the field, Chaz Major, surprising 6th spot for the number 3 machine. While Fred Devano and Katrina Kolaric rounding out the field.
Yeah, you wonder, is Chaz kind of playing things safe? Don't want to show all of his cards here, or
the defending race winner. He was dominant in the single superstar.
Yeah, he totally was, and I think that sled, maybe they just don't want to show all their cards, so that could be a factor.
Now we're learning some of the inside information that happens here, Matt.
That's right.
With this vintage racing here, we're getting it from the crew chief of the Dustin Furyk machine here.
Yeah, so when you know that everyone's going to advance, you don't want to lay all your cards out on the table. So,
but how does one balance that, though? I mean, after all, you're on the legendary 1 mile ice oval. I don't care if it's a heat race. I don't care if it's a pursuit. I don't care what it is. You win something on there, the 1 mile. Where does that rate compare to trying to save your stuff?
Well, I guess it all depends if you picked up a win or not. Personally, Chaz has many feature wins here. Maybe he's thinking, I'm not going to show him everything I have, and then I'm going to come out here the feature, and I'm going to be like, see you guys, I'm out front.
One thing that comes to mind here on this big track, I mean, when you're on a smaller track, sometimes a lot of times you can see where your 2nd or 3rd place rider might be positioned, and according to you, on this big track, the straightaways are so long, you're way out front. You're probably wondering, where in the heck is everybody?
Yeah.
Or, where are they? I mean, that's got to be, if you can't, they're not close enough that you can hear them. That's got to be a little bit on your mind a little bit.
Absolutely. And on the other 14 there, Dan Gallaroric, his sled is always fast, and he's a local driver here out of Gatesville, Michigan. And so I bet you he'll go back to his trailer and look at his speed, and he's going to probably try for a little more speed because he knows there's some tough competition.
He was a runner-up last year to Chaz Major in the 340 Fan Superstocks. He'd like to advance that one more position in that feature.
Interesting story about talking to guys who used to race vintage sleds a long time ago. Some of them started experimenting, dockering the fuel up a little bit, and so it would have got to be in tech. If you won, they would take some of the fuel out of your tank, and they'd put it into. They had this little chainsaw motor, and if the chainsaw motor went over a certain RPM, you were disqualified because you had illegal. That's how they tested the fuel. You had illegal fuel. If they fired the chainsaw up and she revved up too much, then you were doctoring your fuel. But interesting.
440 Fan Superstars coming up next. We're going to have 2 heat races, top 4 out of each heat race. 3 laps apiece will transfer into the main event later on today. So a couple of heat races. This is the only division we're going to have 2 heat races where we transfer into the feature later on tonight. Big thanks to Reefer Peterbilt, Metro Detroit Company, long time. When you think of trucking, I mean, I know I'm not a trucker. But when you think of trucking, first thing that comes to mind to me is Reefer Peterbilt.
Yeah, Peterbilt, definitely a tough, nice brand for semi-truck drivers. That was Dustin's dad's semi-truck. So I do know that brand.
Heat race number 1. We got 6 sleds, top 4. Transfer to the feature. They've only got 3 laps to get it done. As we get set to go, once again, standing starts for everybody except the Sportsman 600s, which is the featured division here today. as part of the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout. Green flag's out, and here we go. We'll get the lineup for you for this first heat race. First up, the 29-year-old from Brimley, Michigan, number 15, Ryan Dalsky. Alongside him, your defending race winner, the 43-year-old from Grand Lake, Michigan, the 66 of Ryan Wolf. Then you got the 18-year-old from Kincheloe, Michigan, the 14 of Monty Dumpback. Then you got the 44-year-old from Saginaw, Michigan, the 65 of Guy Geimer. Alongside the 46-year-old from right here in Sault Ste. Marie, the number 6 of the Spy Racing entry of Pete York. And last but certainly not least, the 58-year-old from Durango, Colorado, the 82 of Gary Osentowski.
Yeah, he had quite the travel here. That's really cool that he can join us here at the legendary I-500 track.
Said it was a bucket list item. He's always wanted to race here, and decided, you know what? I got an old sled sitting in the garage. We're going to get her spruced up, and here we go.
And here we go, Ryan Wolf charging hard as he comes into turn 1, already coming out of turn 2, when the 65 is trying to chase him down, the 65 of Guy Geimer.
His first ever appearance here at the I-500, but Ryan Wolf, your defending race winner here in the 440 Fan Superstocks, looking to repeat. He had himself a weekend in Kinross, Michigan here just a few days ago now.
Well,
as he picked up the win in the 440 Superstock main.
Wolf has a half a straightaway already just in this first lap here on that second place machine of the Guy Geimer on there. So, boy, that thing really flies, that one of Ryan Wolf.
He's flying. There, we could potentially see some lap traffic this lap around as he's really gaining here, just flying on that 66.
And that's amazing to think about, considering this is only a 3-lap race.
Absolutely, and you talk about he had a great weekend in Kinross. I'll tell you what, he went out to Eagle River and he cleaned house out there as well. So he is definitely having a great season so far.
Ryan Dalsky, the third place machine at C&H Marine Services, number 15, a 78 Yamaha 440. Dalsky, the 29-year-old rider out of Brimley, currently third.
White flag is out, and we are looking for the top 4 to advance. Currently, Wolf leading the charge here in this 440 Fan Superstock as he's already picking up the checkered flag.
You were close. He almost got to the number 6 of Pete York as Ryan Wolf will win heat race number 1. He'll transfer in to the feature a little bit later on this afternoon into the evening hours. Second place by a little bit of a gap. How about almost 15 seconds? Guy Geimer finishes in second. Ryan Dalsky will come home in third. And Monty Dumpback finishes in fourth. Those 4 will transfer into the feature later on here today. Everybody else, in the case, Gary Osentowski from Durango, Colorado, well, at least he got to say he raced on the legendary 1 mile.
Absolutely. It's a bucket list for him. He is going to remember this. Maybe next year he'll come back because it was so much fun.
But your winner, the defending race winner of the 440 Fan Superstocks, the Wallace Lawn Care 1981 Polaris TXC for Wallace Racing, 43-year-old driver from Grand Lake, Michigan, outside of Flint, my hometown. Ryan Wolf picks up the win in heat race number 1.
Yeah, it was just start to finish for Ryan Wolf. He's another one that we will see here on Saturday racing the I-500. He knows this track, and he knows how to get it done.
And as you mentioned, Marcy, he had such a wonderful season so far. Eagle River wins, Kinross win last week, and he's looking to repeat here today as the 440 Fan Superstock winner here at the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout.
Some of Ryan's sponsors, Wallace Lawn Care, Meridian Acres, Solva Excavating, Flannery Motorsports, Mickey's Sleds and More, and J&B Performance, JB Design, the sponsors on that number 66, a beautiful TXC Polaris 1981 version at 440. Not very many of those around, Mars. You look at that as certainly a different looking Polaris. Pretty cool.
Heat race number 2 set to roll out. Looks like 4 are going to answer the call, so all 4 will transfer. Had 6 in the first one. Looks like a couple sleds not able to answer the call for the second heat race, so looks like these 4 will transfer directly in to the 440 Fan Superstock feature event coming up here later today. They will join Ryan Wolf, Guy Geimer, Ryan Dalsky, and Monty Dumpback in that 440 Fan Superstock feature event. As the green flag is out, heat race number 2. Here's your lineup. The 19-year-old from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, the number 10, Luke Eagle, alongside the 54-year-old from Disparate, Ontario, Canada. I know where that's at. 62 of Keith Mackey. Then you've got the 46-year-old from Interlaken, Michigan, the 80 of Corey Zerniak. And alongside him, the 52-year-old from Suttons Bay, Michigan, the 70 of Paul Corson.
Yeah, Keith McKay got a pretty good start of that. He jumped down into the corner, and he's got that machine now already down into turn 3. So good run for the Deborah native, a 54-year-old rider on his machine.
Scheduled to go, unable to answer the call, the 2 of Chad Seiler, the 09 of Todd Budnick, and the 41 of Tim Mason. All scheduled to go in this heat race, unable to answer the call. So these 4 will lock themselves into the 440 Fan Superstock. Now it's a matter of where they're going to start.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Seiler there because he's always a tough competitor in this class as well. He always usually has his sled dialed in, so tough.
I know he had motor issues at Kinross last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so that could be potential. He signed up and not able to get that fixed before this race.
McKay's increased his lead. He's got a half a straightaway lead now. You can see him tucked down behind the windshield. He's went under the bridge there. A real nice run through turn 1 and 2, and he's smoothly already down into turn 3.
Keith McKay, former winner of the Quebec 250. That would be a race. That sounds like that'd be a cool race to go to.
Absolutely. This rider, former rider of a very familiar team back in the day, the Rose Valley Racing entry out of McLennan, Ontario, the Abelson boys, and McKay back in the 80s.
They'll take the white flag. 1 lap to go for the Deborah, Ontario, Canada native. How far is it from you?
He's about 15 miles from me. Keith McKay,
How big is Deborah, Ontario?
On the edge of St. Joe Island. Well, Deborah's is a township, Matt. It's not a city.
But you said he lives 15 miles away.
Yeah, he's 15 miles. He's in our township. He's right on the edge of St. Joe Island Township, just before you cross over the bridge to St. Joseph Island.
You got a lot of moose up there?
Absolutely.
Oh,
we do.
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Keith McKay looking to bring home heat race number 2 in that number 62 machine.
Here comes McKay already down the front straight. Great job for him.
And Keith McKay will transfer into the feature later on tonight for the 440 Fan Superstars. He'll bring home the win, the 54-year-old from Deborah, Ontario, Canada. Second spot will go to the young 19-year-old Sault Ste. Marie native Luke Eagle. Comes home in second, the former Myra Junior champion. Third spot here eventually, as the lights have been on for a while, but now you can really notice the glare as Cody Zerniak comes home in third spot, and Paul Corson rounds out the field, so our 440 Fan Superstocks is set.
So Keith McKay with the win here in heat race number 2. He'll transfer into the final. The 54-year-old rider out of Deborah, Ontario, on the Fringe Outfitters, North Channel Heating and Cooling, Rod Stevens Construction, McKay Machine Works sponsored an 81 Polaris, another TXE, Mars.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job out there. Like you mentioned, he's ran here before, right, Spank? And so he's another one here, knows this track, and I think the feature is going to be a really good one to watch here.
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Keith McKay going one-on-one with Ryan Wolf, and, man, it's going to be fun to watch.
It could come down to who gets the better start, and with all this snow coming down, finding a good spot on the track that has no snow is going to be tough. So it's all about trying to find that clean ice.
That's exactly it. The snow has lightened up from coming down here right now, but still lightly comes down here as it continues to build on the track. You're right, Marcy. You're going to be tough. You're going to have to pick your line, particularly in that starting line, to get out front here and on your launch.
And to put a period on Chad Seiler, it was engine issues at Kinross. Nice message from Mr. Seiler. So, Chad, wish you were here, my friend. We miss you over here, man.
Yeah, he's definitely always a tough competitor and fun to watch, so that's a bummer for him. And hopefully he can get that fixed, and we see him at the next race.
340 Free Air Super Stocks heat race. 6 competitors. All 6 have answered the call, so here's your lineup. The 55-year-old from Saugatuck, Michigan, number 1 of Mike Miles. Then you got the 39-year-old young lady from Thessalon in Ontario, Canada, the 17 of Audrey Martin. The 53-year-old from Cedarville, Michigan, you know him well, Marcy, the 19 of Mike Friel. Then you got the 44-year-old from Saginaw, Michigan, the 65 of Guy Geimer back out. And then you got a couple Bevra competitors. The 18-year-old from St. Charles, Michigan, the 128 of Tucker Haven. And the 43-year-old from Saginaw, Michigan, the 6'11", James Von Berg. That is your field. 6 sleds, 3 laps.
It looked like Tucker Haven got the jump down into that first corner. He's already down off the turn 2 and down the back straightaway, but a real good battle for second there now. One sled down on the inside of the track, the other one on the outside as they head towards turn 3.
Yeah, that's Friel sitting in third, trying to run down second as they go into turn 3.
Good field of 340 free air superstars, including one young lady, Audrey Martin, making her debut here in the legendary 1 mile oval. She's a Myra competitor as well, as seen some time in the Bevra circuit.
Yeah, we see her name a lot in Myra, and she's doing a great job, and she gets out here and she battles with these guys.
It's James Von Berg out in front. Guy Geimer riding second. Mike Friel is third. Tucker Haven fourth. Audrey Martin in fifth. And Mike Miles rounding out the field.
They've really spaced out almost evenly every position. So this is going to be interesting to see if they kind of stay this way or if anyone can kind of pick up a little more speed and run each other down.
Those first 4 are almost exactly spaced perfectly like you called it now, as they're already down into turn 3 on their way back front straightaway here. Tucker Haven, your leader, St. Charles, Michigan on that. James Vondenberg, I'm mistaken. Sorry about that, 1980 Polaris. He's going to cross the line. No signal. 1 to go here.
Spanky, where's Thessalon, Ontario?
Thessalon, Ontario is about 60 miles to the east of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
I asked him just so I can hear him say it better.
I'm not even from Canada, but people accuse me of saying that too, so I feel your pain, Spanky. I think I'm just close enough that...
Okay, see you guys later. You're making fun of me already.
I get to see Spanky once or twice a year, you know? It's here and usually the Hot Shoe 100 down at Owasso Speedway. The only times I get to see him.
He sets me up. You see how he set me up with that question?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He didn't even want to know the answer. He just set me up.
He did a great job. I mean, you answered his question.
That's a long weekend. I'll set him up.
Yeah, we got a long way to go.
Karma, Matt.
Yes, indeed.
Checkered flags out. The 6'11" of Vonberg picking up the win, followed by Guy Geimer, and then followed by Friel, and followed by Tucker Haven on the 128.
And rounding out the top 5 will be Audrey Martin, the pink and purple racing Polaris. That is a 1979 Polaris TX, and Mike Miles will round out the field. So James Von Berg, the 43-year-old from Saginaw, Michigan, a stout competitor in the Bevra circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't get to see him a whole lot, but definitely a competitor and does it. Well, he just showed us right now. He was leading the charge here in that 340. But let's go back to Audrey. You talk about that pink machine. That's a really nice machine. Maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a female and it's pink, but I walked by that this weekend in Kinross and I looked at it. I'm like, wow, that's really beautiful.
It stands, even as far as we are here, it really stands out here on this racetrack.
I was going to comment, boy, that's a good-looking ride that Audrey's on there, for sure. Very beautiful sled there. So Vonberg, JV Electric, the sponsor on there, Webster Garner Fuels, Dragon Race Fuels, and Kimball Midwest, the sponsor on that machine, the 1980 Polaris 340.
We're getting a little bit quicker. Coming up next, 440 free air super stocks, getting ready to roll out. This is the third division at Chaz Major, the defending race winner in, but he's got some stiff competition. Former of Eric Smolinski, Wade Altman, Ryan Wolf, and Cody Zerniak.
Yeah, this will be a fun one to watch to see if Ryan Wolf has anything for Chaz Major. Again, it's probably going to come down to the starts as they're going to be looking for some clean ice. But this is we're getting down to the end of our heat, so finding clean ice is going to be very difficult for these drivers.
Well, these two guys too, Matt, have been out on the track and they've had a look at it. I mean, the track obviously very smooth, but maybe just seeing where the snow buildup and that is, maybe how to run, where to run. So an advantage here is they'll get ready to roll. They'll put them on the starting line.
Standing starts, as we mentioned, for everybody except the Sportsman 600s, which are coming up here in just a couple of divisions. As the 440 Free Air Superstocks getting ready to go. 3 laps. Their lone heat race, which the finishing order determines the starting order for their feature later on today. We'll set the lineup. Up first, the 43-year-old from Grand Lake, Michigan, the 66 of Ryan Wolf, and you got the 54-year-old from Rogers City, Michigan, the 09, the former drag racer Wade Altman. Then you've got the 22-year-old from Ludington, Michigan, defending race winner Chaz Major of the number 3 machine, followed by the 46-year-old from Interlochen, Michigan, the 80 of Corey Zerniak, and then you got the 45-year-old from Rogers City, Michigan, the 7, Eric Smolinski.
Yeah, and like we talked about before this race started, Chaz Major, Ryan Wolf, they are battling out as they went down the backstretch. They are side-by-side racing action as they go into turns 3.
Wade Altman, he got the jump into the first corner, but he quickly got passed down that back straightaway. So who's going to get to the line? Pretty good battle for that first place spot as they come down to the stripe.
Yeah, Ryan Wolf leading the charge here on that 66, but Major is not letting him get too far as he's trying to run him down in turn 1.
Boy, that's a real good scrap for the lead there as Wolf. He'll slide it up to the middle of the track there as that number 3 machine, Chaz Major, tries to close. He might be closing slightly, gang, as they head down towards turn 3.
There's not a lot of time to get the job done. This time by is going to be the white flag. We're already past halfway when they went down halfway down the backstretch. This time when they come out of turn 4, down that long 2,000-foot front stretch, it'll be white flag, 2 laps completed, 1 to go.
One thing I want you guys to watch when they come into turn 1, Ryan Wolf is actually running a very tight line where Major is actually running probably about 2 feet up above. So it'll be interesting to see if they run the same line this time around.
I think Major kind of looking down on the bottom here this time now as he'll run a lower line, as you called it, Marcy, is trying to figure out a way the lower line, the shortest way around this track, but does he have the power to catch up to that nice lead that Wolf has there in that 66?
He sure is gaining down that back stretch, and if he can get that inside line, he will definitely gain that advantage.
Looks like he's going to pull right up alongside almost as they're in turn 3 here. Tough for to really clearly see it, but boy, this is going to be a battle when they come down the front straightaway. Who's going to get to the checkered flag first?
As they race down the stretch, it's Wolf leading the charge for now. Will Major have enough?
On the front stretch, it's going to be Ryan Wolf picking up his second checkered flag of the day by just 0.4 of a second over Chaz Major, who comes home in second.
That final is going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, what a finish that was. Here comes your third place machine now as it'll cross over the line and grab that 3rd spot.
That's Wade Altman, the former NHRA drag racer, now jumping into on a snowmobile, finishing in 3rd. While Eric Smolinski comes home in 4th, the former 440 fan winner of the Subinich Shootout. And Corey Zerniak rounds out the top 5, but Ryan Wolf, he's got 2 checkered flags today in a couple heat races, but he wants those checkered flags a little bit later on. He wants to visit GFL Environmental Victory Lane.
Well, who doesn't? Matt, I mean, I want to go down there.
Right?
In 1981 Polaris, again, there was a TXC Polaris. Boy, strong running machine, that 440 Polaris. Wallace Lawn Care, Meridian Acres, Sova Excavating, Flannery Motorsports, Mickey Sleds and more, and JB Performance, JB Designs on the side of that one. So congratulations, Ryan Wolf.
Well, I'd like to just take one little minute and just give a quick shout out to my kids at home and my mother-in-law, because my mother-in-law is at the house watching my kids. They woke up this morning not feeling the best. I'm pretty sure they're just kind of dogged down from running the last 4 weekends of racing, so it's kind of catching up with them. So they're at home watching racing.
Well, if I can give them some advice, Marcy, the chocolate cake or the chocolate ice cream's in the freezer downstairs, guys. Mom's up here.
That's right.
Go for it.
And the cake that's on the counter, because we celebrated Aaron Giles, who will be coming up in the F500. His daughter, it's her birthday today.
Oh.
So they stayed at our house this weekend, and it's her 17th birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to Samantha Giles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sure the kids are eating it too.
Yes, I bet they are. F500 heat race action. Getting ready to roll out. There may be 2 heat races here as well.
Kind of looks
But
like
but everyone's going to transfer, I do believe.
4 sleds.
We'll get the confirmation on that.
4 sleds across the line. I would think a couple heats of that maybe.
Appears to be so. So we're getting a little bit quicker, a little bit faster with each sled that comes out. And as it cross, here's your lineup. It is the 39-year-old from Hessel, Michigan, the 19 of Dustin Furyk, the 52-year-old from Fenville, Michigan, the 16 of Aaron Giles. Then you've got the 60-year-old from Pinckney, Michigan, the 44 of Tim Hutchison, and the 41-year-old from Wayland, Michigan, the 10 of Mark Suk. That is your field.
Good have been start for that 19. What do you think, Mars? As Dustin's got her off and rolling, he's first into the corner, and he leads the field down into turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, we talk about the starts here, finding that clean ice. He did come off the line well on there, so there must be just enough clean ice. Got a good start and is leading the charge here in the first F500 heat race.
1 lap completed, 2 laps to go, 3-lap heat races. Furyk is your leader in the number 19, the defending race winner of the F500, the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout.
Yeah, so he picked up a second in Kinross and then in the sprint, and then he picked up a second in the Enduro. And when he came off the track in the Enduro, his sled actually was on fire.
Oh.
So they had to hurry up. They got some snow, got that fire out, and when they took it back to the shop yesterday and they started doing some digging, they realized the pipe was cracked. So we had to get the pipe actually welded yesterday to get that sled back on the track today. So I'm just happy that it's together and he's able to be here today.
Boy, did Furyk ever cut a nice corner down that turn 1 and 2. He was just absolutely flat as he darted it down to the bottom of the race course. Here comes again now. Watch his line down through this corner here. Really nice and smooth for Dustin Furyk on that Polaris right down next to the bank, and he'll just come up to the middle of the track. He's got a pretty comfortable lead.
Yeah, in second is the 16 of Aaron Giles. He kind of tested his sled out too in Kinross and was just trying to shake out the bugs on that sled. He's had some issues the last couple of years with it blowing up, but he looks to be doing all right. He's putting down some laps and trying to run Furyk down.
Well, one is doing all right. Dustin Furyk in the 19 machines. He'll make his way out of turn number 4. Pretty busy week for Dustin, you'd say?
Yeah, so the kids kept us busy
Right.
starting Sunday, and then today he'll be back up Thursday to do some autographs with Who's Racing,
There you
and then the Saturday, the big show.
So checkered flag victory right there for Dustin Furyk and his Polaris. And Giles will grab second. And crossing over on third.
Tim Hutchinson in the 44 machine, and Mark Suk rounds out the field. Well, since your husband won, Marcy, why don't you tell us about our heat race number 1 winner?
Yeah, like you mentioned, he's 39 years old. That sled is sponsored by Tacey Boatworks, Dunn Racing, Woody's. Man, I don't even know who else he put on here. Jeez, a Tour Excavating as well, and Thunder Clutch Products. So definitely thankful for our sponsors. They definitely help us get us to the track and keep those sleds hooked up and winning races.
Well, real nice run for Dustin. Is there another heat coming out for the
Should be.
the F500s?
Yes,
Boy.
heat race number 2 coming out next. So it was making sure on that. So heat race number 2. Looks like everyone that should have made up the inside lane of the feature tonight. So now the outside lane will be determined here for heat race number 2. And you got some good ones in this one. Amongst them, of course, Cameron Spencer, who was very quick in qualifying today. Spencer picking up the big win this past Sunday in the Supermod 440.
Wade Warner, I believe, also in that 48, the Gatesville, Michigan young rider will be out in this heat also. Looks to be, what do we got? 5 of them. Look to be
Like
5.
yeah.
5 more coming down to line up here.
John Proctor should be this one. Also Andrew Veenstra, the former ATV motocross competitor, jumping onto a snowmobile. Don't know how different that would be. Just wheels and skis, maybe.
I think if racing's in your blood, I think you can put your mind to it, and I think you can do it.
That's the one thing I learned coming up here to the I-500. Racing is racing, no matter what it is. Whether it's it's cars, it's snowmobiles, or in your guys' cases, during the summer, it's boats. No matter what. I mean, even if me and Spanky went running up and down the hall, that's still a race.
Not much.
Exactly.
Not much of a race, though, Matt.
No.
But racing's racing. You're right.
I'd prefer to stay off of a bike, though.
Right.
I'd prefer 4 wheels or a sled.
One sled having issues.
That's tough luck. A rider pushing that sled off now.
And that is Wade Warner, the 21-year-old from Gatesville, Michigan. Tough break for that Ray Fisher Incorporated Polaris Indy. Green flag's out. Here we go. Your lineup, the 20-year-old from Flushing, Michigan, the 22 of Cameron Spencer. Then you've got the 686, the 38-year-old from Trufant, Michigan. That's John Proctor. And then you got the 58, the 33-year-old from Hopkins, Michigan, Andrew Veenstra.
The other one out there is the 15 of Trevor Warner, the older brother to Wade Warner. So not sure if transponder issue or what, but he is also, I did catch up his sled out there.
Yep.
Cameron Spencer got that lead and down the Flushing, Michigan 20-year-old rider. Got the lead already down in coming off turn 4 here now down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1 is on that 22. Cameron Spencer, your leader.
And Spencer was such a big emotional victory on Sunday down at Kinross. Raced one on the sled built by his dad, Ryan, or built in his grandpa, Tim. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, wasn't that something else to mention? Two of the finest names in snowmobile racing around the area, no doubt about it. But good job. He's got, about a half a straightaway lead on that second place machine.
Yeah, I know Ryan was pretty excited about that win that he picked up, and he's doing a fantastic job here on the I-500 track here. He's already coming out of turn 4 to see the white flag. But I did see the 15 of Trevor Warner duck into the pits as so tough break for that Warner crew as one didn't start and one ducked into the pits early.
White flag out now as Spencer will cross under the bridge here on his last lap around the 1 mile here up in the Sioux. He'll dart it down to the bottom, a little lower this time. And
one sled, sideways right there, right here just before the bridge.
John Proctor, I was just going to say, he is really flying, and then I saw his hand go up, so it is really smoking.
I bet you that he locked the track up, probably squeaked the motor right there. That's what happened. He locked it up and went sideways. Good job with John to stay on the sled, and his day is done. Tough luck for John Proctor.
But it's all Cameron Spencer in the 22 machine, the 20-year-old from Flushing, Michigan. He's going to make his way down the long 2,000-foot front stretch. He'll take the checkered flag and wins heat race number 2. Cameron Spencer has a win in the legendary 1 mile ice oval.
Great job by Cameron. It's going to be a really good feature as Cameron was cruising out there. Unfortunately, the tough break for the Warner guys. They one started, one did not, and we started with 5.
Yep.
And then we were to 4.
And now we're down to 2.
Now we're down to 2.
As Andrew Veenstra is going to finish in second spot, the 33-year-old from Hopkins, Michigan. His first ever appearance here in the legendary 1 mile.
Tough luck at John Proctor. What happens here is that these straightaways are so much longer than what these guys are used to running on. If you don't have your jetting just right, depending on the temperatures, obviously also you can squeak a motor pretty quick, and I believe that's exactly what might have happened to Proctor's machine there. As you can see, it locked the track up for a second there, and he just took it into that entrance road down the hill into pit road there as he sits there dejectedly. I'm looking at that, a lot of smoke come off that motor, so I would think he squeaked the motor there.
So Cameron Spencer, the 20-year-old from Flushing, Michigan, the Castle Sales, Woody's Racing Products, Energy Concepts, Heating and Cooling, Wall Brothers, Northern Crankshaft and Machine, 1992 Polaris Indy with a Fuji 500 underneath the hood. Flushing, Michigan, located northwest of Flint, for those of you who don't know your geography of the great state of Michigan. My hometown, Flint, Michigan. I got out before the water got bad.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That's what happened? You're drinking that water down there?
I got out before that all happened.
Well, I don't know. You got 2 marks against you. A goaltender,
right.
former goalie.
That's right.
And drinking that special water down there.
Yeah.
Now it's all start. Now we're hearing the rest of the story.
Here it comes. Here comes that karma.
Here come the big dogs, the Sportsman 600s, ready to go next. Now I'm going to pose a question to both of you. We talked about this, Spanky and I, earlier today during practice group qualifying. Tomorrow, the Kokosing Alberici trailer old 600 modifieds will be in action. What is the difference between the old 600 mods and the Sportsman 600 mods? Spanky?
Oh, I thought that was Marcy's question.
Or Marcy.
That's a great question.
You said the old 600 mods and the 600 mods.
The old 600 mods are racing tomorrow.
Yes.
For the Kokosing Alberici Trailer Old 600 Modified Shootout.
Yes.
Coming out here shortly will be the Sportsman 600 mods.
Well, Polaris went from a 3-cylinder engine down to a 2-cylinder American-made engine. And a lot of the old 600s will be the 3-cylinders. I believe someone told me that in that old 600, though, that I think some of the guys still run the twin-cylinder engines, but the other ones are all twin-cylinder 600 Polaris motors, to my best of my knowledge.
And bummed, your reigning race winner, can't call him defending because he's not here. Sault Ste. Marie's own Dan Minta, not in the lineup today. So we're going to have a brand new winner here in the Sportsman 600s.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier to Spanky that Dan Minta was so excited last year as I was watching that win. He was so excited he took off right into the pits just to celebrate with his crew. He didn't even go to victory lane.
We had to fish him back out to get his victory lane photo.
He was just so pumped. They had the camera on him as I'm watching on TV, and he's just cheering. They're like, no, go back to victory lane. It was funny, and that was good for Dan.
Somebody mentioned, I believe, down in at Kinross that Troy DeWald on that 57, that was a twin as compared to a 3-cylinder. So, I mean, that machine very fast, that Flannery Motorsports machine there. So,
Troy DeWald, the overall fastest qualifier today in the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout, the only sled to break the 40-second barrier, went a 39.812. How good was that time? Second quick was Ryan Dalsky, a 41.063.
So Troy DeWald is going to be the one to watch here as he had the quickest time. But as I look at this, there's a lot of good competition here. And
absolutely
Kenzer, I know, was charging hard, trying to run DeWald down. So in a lot of the races that I've seen recently in the last couple weeks, a lot of these competitors have been racing each other for the last couple weeks. So it's going to be a good race.
But when Troy DeWald's in the field, it is so hard not to bet against it. It's so hard not to run over to Kuwait and place your bet.
Absolutely, Matt. He's definitely a real solid racer and just a great person. He's one of my favorites, and like you said, it's hard to bet against him.
Now, see, I can remember Troy DeWald back when he raced cars, when he raced modifieds at Whittemore Speedway, Auto City Speedway, what is now Birch Run Speedway, and he was pretty darn good in his own right in four wheels. Of course, nothing compares to his accolades on a snowmobile.
And like we mentioned earlier, a racer's a racer, right? So it's just in his nature and his blood to win, and he's just going to go out. Whatever you put that man on, I think he would win.
Yeah, I think if you put big wheels out here, he'd spank them.
Yeah. Dirt bikes, like.
Yeah, it don't matter. Troy DeWald, the 12-time I-500 Pole Award winner, 3-time I-500 race winner, decided to have a little fun today in the Reefer Peterbilt Sportsman 600s, part of the Sioux Vintage Shootout today. We're going to see him in just a little bit. Jake Giroux is a good one to watch. He's in the Toro Excavating Polaris. The 32-year-old from Oscoda, Michigan. Aaron Celestino, a former winner here in the Sioux Vintage Shootout in the 340 Free Air Superstocks. He'll be behind the wheel of the Albert Heating and Cooling Polaris. The 35-year-old from right here in the Sioux. And as we get set to go, 3 of them out there. And here is your lineup. It is the Woody's Racing Products Polaris, a 55-year-old from Augrey, Michigan, and 57 of Troy DeWald starting on the pole. Alongside him, the S&T Group Polaris, 41-year-old from across the bridge in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada, 46 of Mike Tatasciore. And starting also in the field, the JR Tool Incorporated Polaris, 59 years old from Bay City, Michigan, the number 12 of Joe Mapes. That is your field. 3 sleds. They will determine the inside row of the Sportsman 600 feature event.
Yeah, we talked about all of them advancing, but it's all about what position.
Yep.
And that plays a factor here, especially on a rolling start.
Sportsman 600's the premier division today, the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout. They're the only division with a rolling start, or in this case, a sliding start, if you will. Still got the car terminology in me. That's one of the hardest things. By the time the week is over, I have my snowmobile terminology down pat, and it's Saturday.
That's all right. We understand what you mean.
Now, what is it when boats come out of turn 4?
Go. It's go, eh, Marsh?
It's just go.
They're coming out of turn 4.
No, they're floating. They're floating out of turn 4.
Or drifting. I don't know.
Drifting, there you go. Green flag's out, we're underway. 3 quick laps. And very quickly, Troy DeWald out in front. How many times have we said that over the last 9 years, Banky?
Yeah, Mapes got a move on the inside of Tadashore, though. Mapes will grab second spot. He's got around that Sioux Ontario rider, but Troy DeWald already has got a quarter straightaway advantage on that second place machine of Mapes.
I'm looking to see if Troy DeWald gets an even faster time than his qualifying time. He's just cruising around this track as he's already coming out of turn 4.
Troy DeWald out in front. And there's a question posed to both of you. These competitors, all 3 of these competitors are going to race on Saturday, or are going to attempt to qualify for Saturday. By the way, his lap of 40.422. How much, it's a different sled. It's a Sportsman 600. It's not the true I-500 sled. But how important is track time, no matter what sled you're on?
Yeah, they want to definitely find out the grooves, but it's early in the race week, so this track is going to change significantly. And the way these Sportsmans handle it is much different than the newer sleds. Just how they're set up, wider in the front, they just handle much different. But track time is important, but I think it's too early to tell.
He'll be able to use these laps to, for jetting and clutching and everything too, to, the RPM that they want that motor to run at. I mean, this team is, they got the best crew chief and crew down there and the best rider on top. So DeWald has got a half a track advantage on that second place machine.
This ain't a bad battle for second spot between Joe Mays and Mike Tadashore.
Yeah, absolutely. Tadashore's trying to make a move as they came out of turn 2, but Mapes just has the straightaway speed on Tadashore.
1 week ago, we seen Tadashore. He looked to be a pretty good power in a straight line. He got a lot of the starts into the first corner with that number 46, but Mapes has a little more in the straightaway today.
And Troy DeWald picks up his 426 checkered flag here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. That's a guess. It's a rough guesstimate. I could be off a little bit there.
Give or take some,
Give
right?
or take a few. Second spot to Joe Mapes, former stock car competitor down at Whittemore Speedway. And Mike Tadashore comes home in third. So Troy DeWald picks up a win. How many divisions has Troy DeWald won in? That's a good something to look up. That's my project tonight. How many divisions he's won in here?
You have lots of time on your hands, right?
Yeah.
You
You guys caught me by surprise. I never got to see Troy DeWald run on a modified. So.
Oh, he was a darn good modified competitor back in the late 90s, early 2000s when the open wheel modifieds were really becoming popular here in the great state of Michigan. He was very good, especially at Whittemore, his home track, but he was just as good at what is now Bertrand Speedway, and he was very competitive at Auto City Speedway as well.
Wow. That's got to be tough for him not wanting to get in one of those again. We got
Heat race number 2.
Heat race number 2 on.
Here's your lineup. Starting on the pole, the CH Marine Services Polaris, 29-year-old from Brimley, Michigan, to 15, and Ryan Dolsky starts on the pole alongside him. The Tour Excavating Polaris, 32-year-old from Muskota, Michigan, the number 3 of Jake Giroux. Starting back in the field, the Darlene Concrete Yamaha, 58-year-old rider from right here in Sault Ste. Marie, the 98 of Dan Crimmin. That is your field. 3 sleds, 3 laps. This will set the outside roll for today's Sportsman 600 feature event.
Well, Matt, I did get a message. We talked about the difference between the Sportsman 600 and I'm told the Sportsman 600 sleds have to run a stock base motor and they're allowed aftermarket pipes. The old 600s are allowed fully modified motors.
And the old 600s are the fastest sleds you're going to see here this week. That's coming up tomorrow. That's one of my favorite divisions. They are so fun to watch.
Yeah, those are absolutely fun to watch, and those are always a good race to get you charged up for Saturday.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Heat race number 2, set to roll. It's Ryan Dolsky, Jake Giroux, Dan Crimmin. Green flag's out, and here we go. And happy belated birthday 5 days ago to Dan Crimmin. Just turned 58 years old on January 23rd.
Dolsky grabbed that lead. He hammered that throttle, and he got a real nice jump there in second down off turn 2 now. About, I'd say 15 sled links back, your second place machine. As they head down into turn 3 to complete this first lap here. So Ryan Dolsky on that number 15. Birmingham, Michigan, the hometown of that 29-year-old rider, and that C&H Marine Services sponsored Polaris.
Yeah, and he's followed down the front stretch by Jake Giroux. So, but Ryan Dulski is putting on a clinic on this track because he's already heading into turn 1 under the bridge.
Ryan Dulski, probably a career highlight for him back in 2023, riding with Colbus Racing, finishing in 4th in the 2023 International 500 Snowmobile race. I mean, for some of these teams, finishing in the top 10, 15, top 10, top 5, it feels like a win to them. But what an impressive run. That was just 2 years ago. Dulski, 4th place.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when it's one of your first time, or you're even in your first couple of years to place even the top 10, like you said, is just an awesome feeling. Dustin, when he ran for the first time in 2010, their team finished 3rd, and I thought we won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Dulski now under the bridge for a complete lap number 2 there. He'll run through the middle of the track, push up to the outside a little bit in that snow dust, but it's nicely out of turn 2 and gone down that back straightaway. He's got to increase his lead now. He's got about a half a straightaway lead on that second place machine.
Jake Giroux is going to be on a very good team for the I-500. That Let's Go Racing Polaris with Andy Shoemaker, John Chooch Booth, and Reagan Neacrook. That is going to be a sneaky good team on Saturday.
Absolutely, it'll be a good race, but Dulski's already coming down, going to get the checkered flag here in heat number 2. He is definitely looking solid out there, and it's going to shape up to, he'll be chasing Troy DeWall down, I think. He's going to be right on his heels.
I think so. Good run for Dulski, your winner here. There's your second place.
Jake Giroux.
Giroux will cross underneath.
Dan Criminag, where did he go? Oh, there he is. He's on a backstretch, making his way into turns 3 and 4 now.
Yeah, something I missed.
He was off the pace there in turn 2. Yeah, he caught the same thing I did.
There. He stayed out onto the track, but something amiss on that machine. Looks like he'll just pull off down off turn 4 here now and make his way down the front straightaway, but that machine definitely not up to speed.
Yeah, Dan Crimmin and his son, Jarrett Crimmin, running in the single super stocks feature coming up here in moments as Crimmin will cross start-finish line in 3rd spot. But your winner of heat race number 2, Ryan Dulski in the 15 machine. The C&H Marine Services 2000 Polaris for H&D Racing. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to be jumping into a plow break here. We get ready for the features here tonight. About, say, a 20-30 minute pause in the action. At the moment here, heat races are complete. We have 7 features yet to go here for the Reefer Peterbilt Sioux Vintage Shootout. So we're going to take about a 20-30 minute break. We'll come back at 6:03 now. Let's just call it 6:25. We'll come back. 6:25, 6:30 is what you say there, Matt. That sound about right to you? We'll come back, and we'll have 7 big features yet to go. You're watching opening day, Bud Clark Day, as part of the 56th running of the International 500 Snowmobile Race Week here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. We'll be back in a bit.